Hi everyone, it's Kamau. Welcome back to my channel. For those who are just joining me for the first time, I'm encouraging you to subscribe to my channel. Today I'd like to share with you my experience with 3 of my students who passed on. It didn't happen recently. All 3 occurred about within 3 or 5 years ago. Yes, I think within 3 or 5 years. All 3. But it's something that really touched me as a teacher. You know, you don't ever expect to have to deal with the death of your students. You expect your students to outgrow you and to outlive you, really. So when it happens, you know, it touches you. It touches you in a very deep way. And I'm going to share with you how these 3 students, how their passing affected me and how their lives affected me too. So I have been a teacher for over 25 years. I started by homeschooling my own children. I have 4 children. They were all homeschooled, and eventually expanded that to teaching other students, to the point where I founded my school and now operate a full day school. So I have taught hundreds of students over that past 25 years. And they have touched me, and I know I have touched them. I have touched their lives. When I run into them on the road after so many years, you know, some of them have grown up. Children who I knew from they were 6, 7, or 10, or in their teen years, because I teach all levels. I have taught from 6 years, from 4, 5, straight up to 50s, people in their 50s and 60s I've taught. So, you know, when you get them and they're 5, 6, and then, or they're 8, 9, 10, and then you see them 10 years after and they're bearded, you know, or they're married, you run into them in the supermarket, you see them pushing this stroller with their babies. You know, it's really good to see, and you hear what they're doing with their lives, and you see that they have really made something of themselves, and your lessons were not in vain. So this is very good, and this is what you expect. So when you have students who, you know, they drop out of the race so young, you know, it really touches you. So I actually prefer working with the younger ones. I just like their whole vibe, their whole energy, even the troublemakers, you know, because sometimes the troublemakers are the ones who impact you the most, because you find that they're really, some of them are brilliant students. They just don't know how to channel all of that energy, you know, all of that vitality. And so it sometimes comes out as trouble, but when you really get to know them, you find that, you know, they're really nice kids. And sometimes they're the ones who come out and they excel. So I'm going to start with Kef. Kef, she came to me, I think she was about 10, 11, 12, thereabout, when I first met her, and we just immediately bonded. She was just, you know, those prim and proper girls, so well behaved, so polite, just not an ounce of trouble. And we really bonded, you know. I truly loved Kef, and I know that she felt the same. Now, Kef had scoliosis, and eventually she had surgery to correct her spine, to put metal rods in to straighten her spine. So that was one issue she had, and she resolved that with surgery. And then she left my school and she started attending another school. I hadn't seen her for a couple of years, and I ran into her in a bookshop, and I remember she had a rash all over, and she was telling me that, I had this rash for a while and it's just not going away. And she said she was going back to the doctor to see what they could do about it. So I said, okay, and we wished each other well, because it was back to school, and I think she was with her older sister, and they were shopping for back to school. And then didn't see her again for another while. And I believe in 2014, my students were doing exams, and so I accompanied them to the exam, and I ran into her brother, Kef's brother, and he said to me, Kef is in the hospital. So I said, really, what happened? So he said, I'm not sure if he told me what the situation was at that time, or he just said, he just told me the ward and that I should go and look for her. But when I contacted her mom told me that she was diagnosed with leukemia, and she was undergoing treatment. So she was going through chemo, and at this time I think she was about 16 or 17. I don't remember. I think she was about 16 or 17. So I went to visit her a couple of times, and she was just so calm and just still so loving, and Kef was just such a beautiful girl, beautiful spirit. Through everything that she went through, she just maintained that calm, beautiful composure. And I remember she said to me when she was going through the chemo, she said to me, Miss, it burns so much, and she was rubbing her tummy all the time. It burns so much, she was in such pain. And through all of that, she was making craft when she was in the hospital. So she would get these rubber bands, and she had learned how to make flowers with them, bracelets that had floral patterns. And I got some from her. I still have them. She said to me, make sure you put it in the fridge so that it lasts very long. I still have those rubber bands that she made, those bracelets. They were so beautiful, different colors, and she had learned, I think she taught herself from watching some videos how to make the patterns, and they were so lovely. And she went through some series of chemo, and it took a toll on her. And I remember it was a Saturday morning, I think I saw her mom. Her mom made a post to say she had passed, and that was just so sad for me. It was so sad. Such a beautiful spirit, such a beautiful girl. One of the most beautiful girls I've ever seen. In terms physically beautiful, and just her whole spirit, her composure, and she's truly missed. And it's just because her mom said, I think she wanted to be a doctor. There was just so much potential in her, and for her to have passed, that really touched me. And I know it took quite a toll on her mom, still taking a toll, because this is not something she will get over at all. Now, another student of mine, his name was Roger, and He was with me when he was doing his GSAT, so he was about, I think he came to me at 9, 10, 11, thereabouts, spent a couple of years. And then he passed his GSAT and went on to high school, and I hadn't seen him. And then a parent of another student, she came to the school and she said, did you hear that your student passed on? And she told me who it was. And I said no, because I hadn't kept in touch with them, with him or his mom. And then I saw his mom not long after that. I saw her in the grocery store. And she was telling me he was healthy, hearty. Roger was just another quiet student. All these 3 students that I'm telling you about, they were just quiet, brilliant, no trouble, model students. So she said, he was playing, he was normal playing, and then he was complaining that he didn't feel well, and then by the time he got to the hospital, he had passed. And that was really hard. It's really hard to deal with children passing in general, whether you're the mother or the teacher or whoever you are. Just accepting the fact that this young person, this life that's full of so much potential, is no more. Now, my other student, Anthony, he was a teenager. He was in his late teens when he was with me, and just a gentleman, a perfect gentleman, just polite, kind, helpful. Now, he had sickle cell, and he was in and out of the hospital for much of his life because of the sickle cell. Whenever he had a crisis, he would sometimes end up in the hospital. So this was pretty much his norm. And sometimes he would, like, if he got a cut, and it would take a long time to heal, and so he was in pain because of that. And then once he had a crisis, and he didn't pull through from that. So his mom called me and told me, he passed. And by that time, he had already left my school. He was working, but it's really hard to deal with as a teacher. And I can just imagine their parents. I know for a fact, for example, with Kev, her mom just will never. She is more expressive than the other two, or maybe because I'm more familiar with her. But how do parents get over this, and how do you as a teacher deal with it? It's something that we have to face. It's very unpleasant, but it's just part of life. So I wanted to share that with you. And just the fact that these things happen, and we have to just learn to cope. We have to find a way to deal with them. Right, so let me know your thoughts on this whole topic. If you're a teacher and you have experienced this, let me know your thoughts. I know there are many parents who, have to face this. So feel free to drop your comments and let me know how you feel. And I'll see you next time.